Hey, y'all doing? This is Preacher Man Army, and this is another Small Reviews Mondays. This week, Season 2, Episode 15. What happens on this week's episode? Lex hunts down his half-brother, Lucas Luthor. And what Lex doesn't know is Lionel tracked him down 3 weeks later, 3 weeks earlier, before Lex was able to get to him to backstab Lex. And Lex falls for this, and Lex finds Lucas while Lucas is getting chased by these Chinese guys from Ed City, and he saves them and he brings them back. And Lex and Lucas stage a coup with Lionel, and then it fires back on Lex, and Lex winds up losing everything. So Lex is forced to go ask the Kents if he can live with them for a while until he can get his own place. And at first, Jonathan Kent didn't want to do this because he doesn't trust Lex Luthor. Then he decided to let him stay there. So the next morning, Lex gets up and does all the crap chores that involves a farm. And Jonathan does this to see if he's willing to do this, and if he's able to be trusted. And Lex does all these chores, showing Jonathan that he carries his own weight. And Jonathan tells Lex at the end of the episode that he's welcome at his farm anytime because he gave him all the crap jobs and he did every last one without complaining, and he earned his respect. And after this, what happens with Lucas and them, they trick Lionel Luthor, and we find out in this episode that Lionel Luthor isn't blind anymore because Lucas throws a pool ball at him and he dumps out of the way. The reason Lucas knew to do this is because when Lionel was pouring water into a glass, he didn't put his finger inside the cup to tell whenever the glass is about to go over full. He didn't do that, so Lucas knew that he wasn't really blind. So he throws a ball at him, and Lionel dumps it and dumps out of the way of it. And this is when he confirms that Lionel Luthor really ain't blind. And then toward the end of the episode, Lex and Lucas make it look like that Lucas is about to kill Lex, and then Lucas puts a gun to Lionel's head and gives a gun to Lionel and tells him to shoot Lex. And Clark comes in and uses his X-ray vision and sees that this is about to happen, so he goes into the air conditioner duct and uses his heat vision on Lucas's hand, and then Lionel shoots Lucas, but Lionel's gun has blanks in it, and so does Lucas's. And this was to show Lucas that Lionel would kill him if Lionel got the chance. And then Lex takes Lucas into hiding to protect him from Lionel. That way won't nothing happen to him. And Lex gets all his stuff back and goes back to the mansion. And him and Lionel somewhat reconcile a little bit, not really. And this is when Lionel tells Lex that people would do anything in front of a person's eyes if they think they can't see. So any secrets that anybody had while they was in front of Lionel when they thought he was blind, Lionel knows these secrets. And earlier on in the season, Clark used a lot of his powers in front of Lionel because Clark thought Lionel was blind. And now that we know that Lionel ain't blind, we know that Lionel knows Clark's secret. And we'll delve into that more into the rest of the season and into next season because we get more into how Lionel was involved with Clark coming to Earth in the first place. We'll learn more about that. My question for y'all is, now that we know that Lionel is blind, isn't blind, what do you think will happen now that we know that he isn't? As always, Preacher Man RB signing out. That reviews awesome. So I'm listening.